First topic, and I wanted to do this because there's some really, again, proper footballing topics, I guess, to get into. But first and foremost, obviously, we haven't done a social club since the Hillsborough inquests came out last week. And from a Liverpool perspective, and I just want to say, I think the response around football this weekend in particular has been first class. You know, we waited 27 years for the truth to finally come out. And I just say, obviously, Pep, we have a laugh, we have a back and forth with the Liverpool-Everton stuff, but your club in particular thought, and I expected it as much, but I thought the way they covered it all was absolutely exceptional this weekend.
Yeah, Everton, listen, I can slate them for some things, and I do, but when it comes to things like that, they're just amazing. They are generally amazing, and it's not for show as well. I think there are certain clubs and individuals that will do things for show, whatever, and it's not. It's completely from the heart, and I think you've got to live here to just understand that, and understand that it's not something that just affects Liverpool Football Club, or it affects everyone in the city. And I was at St George's Hall on Wednesday for when all the families came and stuff, and that was just unbelievable as well. Just the emotion and I'd never sung "You'll Never Walk Alone." No, I have to admit that. I just don't put my scarf up. There are some things I will simply not do, but it was just amazing to be at. I felt like I had to be there just to be part of that historic thing. And at the game on Saturday, it was amazing too, just to see the families and see how overjoyed they were, and just almost like the relief, taken off them. I watched the Hillsborough docudrama last night, and just when you watch that and you see after the first inquest, and when you see them now, you just think the things those people have had to go through. So, I was fantastic.
It made me so proud, and I mean, again, Robbie, you can see around football. You know, I think every game had a something paid reference to it before the game. I know the Newcastle fans were singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." Obviously the people played Swansea. The Swansea announcer, the speech he gave before it was just like tears to my eyes kind of stuff. It's good because ultimately
I thought Villarreal as well. The banner that they had up was great as well.
And I think for me personally, it's great to see the clubs taking this, because there could be a temptation for football clubs to go, or people to go, well, it was a Liverpool thing, but it wasn't a Liverpool thing. It's a football thing ultimately.
I remember when it happened at the time, and it was so easy, wasn't it, for the police and authorities to blame it on football hooligans, because at that time, as we know, there did used to be a lot of hooliganism, and to hear the unfolding story that it was all a cover-up, and even though I feel so happy for the families, but I still keep thinking to myself, why did it take so long? 27 years. I mean, that's ridiculous. And it still hasn't even ended for them yet.
No, exactly.
And I just think to myself, somebody has to, for me, has to pay a price for that. Somebody has to be held accountable. I mean, even the response from the police, some of the police who were involved at the time, I wasn't impressed with that response. They're still trying to defend certain things. Oh, we were all under orders.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see somebody's dying, I don't care what orders you're under. You know what I mean? You've got to... You need to change and try and help those people. And
I do think we have to be careful on the police side of things, because obviously there is some ongoing things. But I think
that's true.
That's great. But the thing for me, Nicky, is just, and again, I obviously, we'll be picking the energy up on it. I thought it was something worth covering, but it's the sense of unity around football, because there's so much of it. Look, Hillsborough's been a thing, and it's been a stick. He used to beat Liverpool. Every club has something or other that if you're looking to get a response out of fans, you go to. But I think this is a perfect example of, football fans actually almost a show of strength and a show of support, which you don't get to see enough of in the modern game anymore.
Yeah, that's true. There are certain things that just bring fans together, and I think as an event, as a tragedy, it shaped the way football is now. Yeah. The stands would derelict. Some of them, that the one on a day wasn't fit to hold the people in. And now, if you look across the country, football stadiums are shaped on that event. Yeah. So I think, as a whole, it's tragic as it may be. It's made the experience for the fans better, and I think everyone appreciates that. It's a horrible price to pay, but
yeah, absolutely.
It has shaped the game the way it is now, and I think everyone appreciates that.
I was at Sheffield Wednesday this year when Arsenal played there. And I remember when I was going into that same area, and I was like, you know, I just kept thinking, what must that have been like on that day, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's completely different now, it's all seater, but I just kept thinking to myself, wow, what that day that must have been, you know, because you can just, even in going in, with the I think it was about 5,000 Arsenal fans on the day going in, you're thinking, wow, and there was more people than this, and there weren't the controls and all that. What must that have been like? It must have been horrific, you know. So
I remember going to Upton Park once. Wasn't overcrowded. It was just a surge in a crowd, and I was only a kid at the time. And I remember getting crushed against a barrier, and I couldn't breathe. And it's scary. It's scary at the time because you can't move.
Yeah.
And it was waiting to happen. You know, unfortunately, it happened the way it happened. But you know.
Yeah, well, we move on, and hopefully, you know, obviously things are ongoing and all that. And like I say, for the city of Liverpool, feels like a massive weight's been lifted. It's something. It's a marker carried against you. You don't necessarily have it yourself, but it's the way other people see you, it's the way other people perceive you, and how much stuff I've had to put up with over the years when you go out of the city as well, and the ignorance around the country about it. And you know, there's still morons out there. Well, there's always going to be. But
the other side of it is, though, you know, as you're saying there, someone's got to pay for it, because I guarantee if it had been at the boat race, or if it had been at Lords, or you know, one of these other sports, it would have been dealt with. But it would have been dealt with, you know, it would have been dealt with within a year. Yeah. But because it was football, and listen, I still feel that football fans are treated like scum. Yeah. I still feel like cattle when we go to a lot of games. I still don't feel like football fans get treated, you know, like people do when they go to concerts and things like that.
But there is an improvement, Ped.
Well,
you know when I noticed that there has been a massive improvement in this country, every time I go abroad to watch football. I remember I was at Barcelona earlier this year. It's terrible the way they treated the fans, their crowd control. I mean, at one point going into that ground, I feared a sort of not as bad as Hillsborough, but a Hillsborough type situation on that day. And I just thought, you know what, they are so far behind this country, and we have learnt a lot from that Hillsborough incident, and it is way better than when you go abroad, Rob, you know?
When I say that, I don't mean from an organisation point of view, I just mean from how you are treated by certain people. Like,
oh, there's a stigma that comes with being a
football fan. You are still a football fan. You are still hated. And the organisation's fantastic, and the way they herd you is a lot more organised. But you still feel like, did I pay £60 to go to this game to be like, go over there, or I don't want to deal with it. So I still think there's still a lot to do. Yeah. Football fans, we shouldn't be treated like we are, because.
But this is the thing, isn't it? And this was the knock-on effect. And look, obviously there was football hooliganism being rife in the 80s. You had Heysel, which can't be swept under the rug as well. But also the thing with the Hillsborough stuff is that ended up being the final, you know, straw or whatever, which is a wrong thing to do because of fans being blamed for being drunken or whatever. The fact that you can't drink in a football ground, whereas you can watch a concert there, or you can watch the rugby, or you can watch whatever in exactly the same seat and have a completely different experience. I've been to Wembley, watched the NFL, you know, beers in your seat and having, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And the fact is, it's a stigma that's been carried over that football fans have never been able to shake, because the people upstairs are terrified of football fans off the back, and you know, off the back of that kind of stuff as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, Chris, we're going to head over to you then. We'll move on. The next topic we're going to be discussing is the Wenger out protest, and I'm sure there might be a mention of some Everton stuff as well. Stay tuned for that. Chris, you got some comments to wrap us up on Hillsborough?
Just to wrap up, firstly, Sam Harrison says it's amazing how fans can put their differences behind them and show support for such a tragic event. JFT 96 YNWA, of course. Coquelin Tang is saying pay Jack out, losing to Charlton at home, disgrace, which is a nod to our CMO 102 series. You're totally wrong, mate. I'm in and I'm here to stay. I'm going to win us the 19th league title. I'm going to do the Champions League double. I'm still in the FA Cup. I might even add that as well. So back off, lad, because seriously, I'm going to win this. Back onto the real topic, I suppose. He just wound me up. He just really wound me up. They get under my skin, this media, do you know what I mean? What do they think they're doing? Anyway, Nelly Pod 97, quite simply, justice for the 96. Omar Lasker thought Swansea were class as well, which I thought was dead interesting, and I totally agree with. Shad Tiago, the Hillsborough tributes were fantastic. Strange how it was 20 plus years later they finally got an answer. And Jack Cadwell, nothing but respect for Everton for their tributes and support. they gave the families at the 96. So yeah, fair enough. Like full, unbelievable stuff just all around the league, man. It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Villarreal, as you guys have mentioned.